Think we're live. Yep. Appear to be. Let's do a quick audio check here. Hang on. Appear to be. Quick audio check here. Hang on. All right. I believe we're good. Let me just put a quick thing in the Discord. We'll go ahead and get started for the day. Probably a shorter stream today. I've got some admin stuff I got to do off screen, off stream. But anyway, today I want to try to get most of the global market stuff in. So this is going to be a case of right now in the game, this shows what cargo you have stored, but it also allows you to sell it. So we're gonna also I'm gonna fix hopefully fix a quick bug. This one, the travel location's not getting reset, which I might do first. But yeah. So when you're at the global market location, that is where I'm going to replace this, I think, with a door, and you'll be able to go through and when you dock at the market, you'll be able to sell your stuff there. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I think I'll actually fix that bug first, because that should be a quick little easy thing to do, hopefully. So the board basically just not getting wiped between runs. Let me just repro that to make sure it definitely still happens. Pretty sure if I just dock and then undock, hang on, the docking at the global market is not functional yet. Right. We're getting close to the point where I'm going to start polishing up some of the stuff we have, but there's a few more bits and pieces on the Jura to get in game. All right, so we've docked. So we've got some new level stuff, which is cool. Then undock, and yep, you can see we've basically not duplicated, but we have the list hasn't been cleared, basically. CD. So it kept those ones. So it ends in B0. So it ends here, and then the new ones. So let me have a quick little look at that. Should be just a case of clearing the array, I believe. But yeah, very soon I want to start polishing the hell out of what we have to basically get the game into a demo-ish state. We've got a few more features we need to add first. Pretty sure that will be why. Nope, never mind. Generate travel options. We add the destinations. It might just be this then. Check. So if we go to the bottom of the list, which is E0A, and we dock. I don't like that this thing has. Hang on. What the hell? Um, that lo-fi hip hop thing had like singing. Don't want that. Okay, so we're docked. Then we raise the anchor again. 3A0 E. I think it still gave us too many options. Go to 046 and we'll see if it generates a bunch more after that. If it doesn't clear the ones before it, then that's it's a double bug. Okay, we'll leave again. Yeah, pretty sure it did. 046. Yeah, and it generated all of those. And if I look over here, I'm not sure if this will let me see. No, I guess not. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure those options are not getting cleared then. Should be an easy fix. Right, so let's see. This is the generator. We're actually looking for the travel manager, I believe. Is that where it reads these from? Travel manager. Get travel locations. Okay, travel locations right here. Remove travel location. Okay, I see. So if we go to game state, pretty sure we just need to go through here and remove the thing. Okay, so was that 1 ED? Okay. Then we raise the anchor. Yep. That works. Very good. Ooh, wait, no, it doesn't work perfectly actually. Shit. Because it's cleared the global market location as well. Okay. So we're going to have to track these separately, I guess. Dive site, travel locations. And then when we're looping through, we can just loop through that instead. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Okay. Do that. We raise the anchor again. Okay, 6D2. I need to make sure that that actually went away. 6D2. Six D2. Yeah, okay, cool. So that is now fixed. Very good. Very good. And this, I believe, should be server only. Yeah, yeah. All right. I don't think I had to actually do anything in C++, so that's good. Was the bug fixed? Travel locations not getting cleared after undocking, regenerating. Okay, now we do the global market, which I might rename, but we'll see. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Okay, let's see. So yeah, for this, I'm basically thinking somewhere. I'm not. I might change this entire layout, so I'm not going to go too crazy on this. But I think I'll for now just basically put a door like somewhere. I still want you to be able to see your cargo. I just don't really know where to put that now. Like, I don't know. Maybe just put it over here for now, maybe. Until I figure out what I'm actually doing with that. Because over here, we're going to have, I think, basically a door. So we'll take out that. We need to basically turn this into a door. What is that? Big cube? I might actually just quickly model one. At least so I can get the shape blocked out correctly. So if that's a 1 meter cube, we'd want our door to be like that, maybe. Yo, John, what's up, man? 2.2, we'll say 2.2 by 3 meters. How was your weekend, my friend? Good, good. Chess tournament. Oh wow. That was cool. So you're avid chess player. You know, chess is one of the things that I've always wanted to spend the time to like really get into, but never have. Well, you got any recommendations for someone who might want to get into chess? Like I know how to play, like I know the rules, but I don't like, I don't really know any strategy or anything, I guess. Okay, so if I just add in, what did we say? 2.2 by 3, I think. I really feel like doing art stuff, but I'm trying to push ahead to get the prototype done. Or at least most of, not really prototype at this point. The prototype is done. This is more the basic minimum product, minimum viable product. But yeah, so I'm just gonna continue doing this. You don't know, honestly. What about like online stuff? 2.2 on the. Oh no, wait. This is the depth, so we'll say that 0.5, 2.2, and then 3. So that's the height of the door we're looking at. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to start with this. So we'll go mothership interior. Door frame. Apply everything. And I'm going to export. Door frame. Okay. Put a light here so I can see what I'm working on. So that is currently the size we're working with. I do feel like I want to make it wider. Let's try. 3 there as well. Yeah, that feels better. Let's check for scale. Yeah, like that. Nice. This is the door where you put salvage. This is going to be when you dock. I'm not sure if I want to put it here or not, but I'm thinking I'll put it here. When you dock to a location like the global market or somewhere that's not a dive site, you'll be able to actually like walk. Imagine it's like a space station, you know, like you dock and then you'll be able to walk onto whatever area it is. Because I'm thinking possibly for the roguelike elements, and this is maybe another thing that might be different from Lethal Company, is I'll generate a few docking locations as well. Like there might be basically here's what I'm thinking. It won't look like this, but if you guys have ever seen Slay the Spire, one map. I mean, there's lots of games that do this, but this is like a classic example. Basically, there's randomly generated kind of like, I guess, room types along this, like boss or loot or unknown or shop or whatever. I'm thinking of maybe doing something similar, not in this layout, but where every day there might be one or two random things that can generate. One might be like a shop with special special upgrades or different buffs or loot or whatever. But right now we just have the global market, which is where you sell this stuff. But if we have those other locations too, this will be the same docking area. So I just need a way for you to basically, because you can go down to a dive site in your submarine here, but I need a way for you to get off the mother sub as like a player, as well, and that's what this is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to keep this like super rough because I don't want to. I don't know what the style I'm going to go for is yet, but I'm thinking. Maybe just something like this. Actually, let me do by selection on that one, and then we'll delete the rest of these. This is still going to be grey box. I probably can shade smooth though, and just grab these. Mark sharp. Boom, boom. Sharp. John, what are some of the things you like the most about this genre of game? I've been thinking about that over the weekend. Like, there's the whole thing of like having to figure out what the creatures do and like kind of like explore and figure that stuff out. Then there's like the element of kind of like the um, the actual winning of the run, like see if you can achieve it. And then I feel like there's the horror element too. Those are kind of like some of the pillars, I feel like. If you don't mind me asking, what stands out to you as one of the more fun parts of this type of game? Hard question to answer, yeah. Yeah, I know it's a hard question. I'm just trying to think like in order what at least for most people is the most important kind of like what matters the most. Like if I'm going to get one thing right in this game, like what most people would think it should be. But yeah, it's obviously a pretty hard question to answer. Okay, so here's the door frame. I'll just do a cube project on that. Export. I believe that would have just exported that too, huh? Nope. Door. Get back to me on that. Yeah, that's fine. And I did just screw up this. What I'd done here. Actually, I can still use this. I'll just need to re-snap these vertices. Now, let's see. I'll do a mirror here. I actually haven't really thought about how this door is going to actually operate at all, so probably should have. But for now, let's just apply that. Because one way I could do it is have it go up like this. Maybe that's the way actually. Or I could have it go down, but then you're going to have to walk over that. So I think, or I have it split down the middle, but I think I'll just have it go up like that. Will be fine. Cool. And I don't really need to do this, but I am going to just... That's a tiny bit of shape, I think. Actually, no, no, I won't do that for now. Fade smooth, and then we're just gonna... Honestly, this one, shade auto smooth will be fine. Door, export, export. That's the other thing, the normals keep getting reset automatically, annoyingly. Whereas I want it to keep my normals I've told it, which I think that's done, maybe. No, it's still smoothed all the normals. That's so weird. Maybe because of nanite? No. Recompute normals. There we go. Yeah, leave my friggin' normals alone, will you? Sometimes it's handy, but on this, not so much. Again, and that's the other thing too. I am kind of like a little bit torn whether to go nanite or not. I need to do more research into whether that's going to be something that we want to do. These normals are not smooth, so I should not have auto smooth that. There we go. Now the edges kind of look roundish, like that. All right. I guess we're programming a door. Kind of. I mean, maybe if you've never seen this before, this will be interesting. But this is kind of like a pretty boring, boring thing to do. So there's a couple of ways to do a door. One would be as a skeletal mesh, which is if you wanted to be in. In fact, that's what I am going to do. If you wanted to have a lot of control over the animation, I am actually going to do that. Now that I think about it. Otherwise, you can just use static meshes and use timelines and whatnot. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna do this as a skeletal mesh. And we'll call it airlock door mesh. Door frame. And the door can just be joined together. That's fine. And now we need, this is kind of like a weird thing, but you need a rig to do this. So there's going to be a bone. You can usually get, at least for what I do, get away with not having skeletal animation for doors. But if you want a really fancy door with fancy animation, the horror elements are your favorite? Okay, that's good to know. If you want a door with fancy animation, like maybe it like splits out or scales or whatever, it's like way easier to do that as a skeletal animation. So we will have this bone just be called frame, and then literally there's just going to be another door, another bone. Which I will rotate on the Y by 90 degrees, I think. And I'm going to put at the floor. That will control the door. Okay, and that can be parented to the frame, but not connected. Terrifying encounters in Lethal Company and Repo, yeah. Would you be up for playing some Lethal Company or Repo today? Or are you busy? I was thinking of doing a quick run through after I've done some work here. I'd be keen to have a little play of that. Just maybe like one run or so, not too long. But just to refresh my brain on that stuff. Okay, so this will be airlock door. Parent, say with empty groups. So Excuse me. Okay, I'm not sure if that's picking up my voice. Hopefully not. But yeah. Basically, we grab the frame, and this is a very Blender specific thing. I'm not sure how this works in other programs. In fact, is there? Can I? Our resolution scale is already 1.2. It's probably a little easier for everybody to see. So here's our shape keys. So we can assign the frame to the frame, believe it or not, and then the door to the door, believe it or not. And now if we go into pose mode, yeah, I was moving the whole thing because it's parented. Now we can move the door individually up and down. We can also do whatever other animations we want with it. But yeah, so I'm gonna actually just have it be like this. I'll save this, and let me check a couple of things before I export. Export auto, that's fine. Airlock door, recursive. Okay, subfolder's fine. Where's the source content? Because, yeah, I want these to go away now. Yeah, I guess the subfolder's fine. Okay, additional data. SKM airlock door. Should be there. There we go. And now if we bring that in, preview, so we get a skeletal mesh, the skeleton. Nice. All right. So now we have basically the same mesh before, but it's all in one thing, and it's set up to where if I wanted to, we can animate this however we want. So the other thing I'll need to do real quick is grab, let's see, create physics asset. No, we won't do it with the physics asset. I'll leave the collision to the blueprint. What we will do though first is I like to go SKEL like this, skeleton, and then create animation blueprint and ABP airlock door. So the animation blueprint will be the thing that sort of controls, yeah, again, the animation, believe it or not. Actually, there is a weird standard that Unreal kind of has with its axes. So at least from what my experience, so normally X is your forward, like facing forward, and then Y is your right, and then Z is up and down. But for some reason, most of the time for skeletal meshes, they have their Y be the forward. So I'm gonna, like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I'm gonna copy that just for the sake of just being standard to what Unreal does. In which case, we just need to rotate everything by 90 and apply. Oh, it is still trying to export that. Yeah. Skeletal mesh. There we go. So that will, I believe, if I re-import that. have Y be forward now, which again is kind of weird, but it's just the way things seem to be, so I just want to keep it like that. So now you can see that's facing the right way. Well, the wrong way technically, but the right way for Unreal. And for this, I'm just going to literally do a state machine. Door state. And we're just going to have two states, closed, open, right? And then we'll just go between the two based on a Boolean. Is open. Did I get that right? Is open, go to the open state. If it's closed, if it's not open, then we go back to the closed state. Okay. The states look exactly the same, but now if I click this, you can see we go between the two. The blend is going to need to be a lot slower. 2 seconds maybe. Yep. And let's see. The bone will be door. I'm going to set this to be on by default, and then, okay. We will not worry about rotation. Or scale. Translation, pin, add to existing. So now I can kind of like set it to where I want it to be. So maybe here, 230. Okay. And now if I toggle that checkbox, you can see the door opens and closes based on the state machine. So pretty basic animation, but because it's a skeletal mesh now, I could add more bones for like locks that come across. In fact, just to hammer home this example, why don't I do that real quick? Just to show people in case you care. So for that, let's just, again, I'm just gonna, because I've kind of done this as a tutorial unintentionally, have locks like this. I'll go matte cap here as well so you can see a little easier. Maybe shadow, maybe cavity. And sometimes it's nice to go random. No. Random. There we go. Yeah, so scale on the X. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do this because then we need to do a full-on animation, which I'm trying to avoid. That's why I did the state machine thing. But point is, basically, I could have more bones in here to do stuff. And then instead of just doing an offset like this, but if I'll do this in another stream, or if you really want to see it, comment on this VOD and I'll make a tutorial. But you can make this an actual animated, proper animation. But for now, we're just doing a state machine. Keep things simple. So we just have this checkbox on and off. All right. We may want to play with the curve. Circular in, out, maybe. No. You sound schizophrenic because you have a mod on. Okay. Add to the horror. Why not? Alright, whatever. Just leave it. This totally doesn't matter right now. I shouldn't be polishing that because we're not at the polishing phase. Okay, now all I need to do is make a blueprint called BP airlock door. We're going to speed run the rest of this because this is taking a while. Now we're going to have a skeletal mesh, which door mesh. Boom, that's going to be the root. That's not going to be the root actually. Then we're going to have the skeletal mesh be airlock door, which I will quickly make sure. No. When I imported this, we lost our normals again. There we go. The other downside to this, though, that I should mention, currently, I believe, unless I'm out of date, you can't use nanite with skeletal meshes. So if you're relying heavily on nanite, if this was like a 10 trillion polygon door that was just straight out of ZBrush sculpt, then you'd have to just go back to the old school standards and bake that to a low poly mesh with normals and stuff. Or you'd have to make it a static mesh that gets attached to bones rather than a skeletal mesh. Nanite is it's kind of a loaded question, but it's basically virtualized geometry. So I don't know how familiar you are with how games normally optimize geometry, but the traditional way is basically LODs, level of details, which is basically a mesh gets worse and worse detailed the further away you are from it. And if you have a really high poly mesh, like lots of faces and everything, like say in a AAA game like a Call of Duty main character or gun or something like that is like really high detailed, has been sculpted by an artist, is like basically movie quality. No, like before nanite, you couldn't really get that into a real-time game without having to go through the process of basically baking that detail into normal maps and different textures and LODs, and really complicated process, basically a manual process to make like a very low poly representation which looks like the high poly representation. Basically this, let me just show you. Right, okay, so if we have where's a really good example? None of these are particularly great examples, to be perfectly honest with you. But you can see this, for example. Anyway, I'm probably just over-explaining this. But this is actual physical geometry. Like there are actually holes here. Like someone's gone through and sculpted this detail. But you can see that's like 800,000 polygons. For reference, like a main character of a AA, AAA game, you'd be looking at maybe, it varies, but like maybe 10 to 50,000 polys or so. Maybe more, maybe less, but like in my experience on average. But what you can do is basically bake that down to essentially a texture. And now instead of this being like tons of faces, this is probably, the geometry would actually be something like this, most likely. And most of the detail here is coming from textures, instead. you know, however you would set up the geometry of this, but yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, and then nanite essentially just virtualized geometry. So it's basically just taking all of the raw, super high detailed, like 800,000 poly meshes, and in real time, I don't actually know how the math works, but it's something to do with the actual, like I'm pretty sure culling the way the triangles are sent to the GPU, I believe. Or actually, no, I think it's on the GPU. I don't know. Basically, you just give it really high poly stuff. It can tell what triangles matter and the size of them based on, I think, screen size, and then does a lot of that for you. That was probably a terrible example. Nanites, example, demo, GIF, maybe. Like, I don't know if we can see some sort of real-time example here, but yeah, it just cuts that process out. But it's DX12 only, I believe, still DirectX 12, which cuts out a lot of old-end hardware, and it's proprietary to Unreal. So I don't know. They use it in Fortnite, but I just don't know whether I don't know, super trust it. I kind of just like doing stuff the old school way. That works, but it is very fancy. But my biggest worry, basically, here, I'll show you. No. How do I? There's a way I can preview this. Is if you can't use nanite for whatever reason. Here's the nanite overview. If it'll show me. Oh, I think I'm not even running in. Am I even running in DX12 in this? I think I even went. No, I've disabled nanite completely, so it's not even running anyway. But yeah, it can basically make really ugly looking meshes. I was going to try and show you an example, but I've disabled it, so it's kind of hard to see. But if I, yeah, so nanite enabled. If we were looking at the nanite fallback mesh of this, which is just automatic rather than the LOD, nanite fallback. And I mean, this is a bad example, but you can see I'm very much not super in control of the way this is going to look because the fallback mesh is just how it is all the time. So yeah, that's why I'm not really messing with that. Whereas what I'd rather do is have actual LODs. So there's no LODs on this right now. We're at whatever, at 700 poly, because this is just a placeholder. But I can just come in here basically and just say, hey, I want wherever it is. Where do you do that? LOD group, here we go, LODs. I want 3 LODs. Auto compute the distances, and now it's probably going to be not very good because there's already not many polys on it. But as I step down through the LOD levels, basically distance, I'm in control of what it looks like, basically. Anyway, I'm sure no one cares about any of that, but that's my thought process on this currently. Try to avoid nanite unless I really need it. The other thing that nanite does do though is that if you use nanite, there's a lot of technologies they have in Unreal now with like Lumen, which is the global illumination, and virtual shadow maps that are and I think megalights as well, way more performant if you're using nanite, which I'm not, so we're going to be paying a higher cost for stuff like that. If I show you, Lumen is very fancy but very expensive. Am I able to show you lumen or not? Again, global illumination is kind of a hard thing for me to describe. Lumen reflections. See, I didn't really want all of that on. Okay. I'll just show you somewhere else because I don't want. It's gone through and basically turned on a whole bunch of my settings that I didn't want. GI, global illumination. Is essentially indirect lighting. I don't know why it took me so long to say that out loud. But you see, where's an example? See right here, the corner here is the only thing that's lit. Like this. If you didn't have GI, this is what you'd see. If you do have GI, the light from the lit parts of the scene bounce to the non-lit parts. So you can see the red light here, the red wall is bouncing a little bit of red light across the scene, but obviously that's pretty expensive to do. Lumen is Unreal's GI, or one of their solutions. Expensive, yeah, like it costs a lot of GPU and I believe CPU resources to calculate that stuff. And at the current moment, I'd prefer to use those GPU resources for other things other than lighting like that, because I can fake it using old school methods for now. Or even bake it. So anyway. Kind of like a ramble, but I feel like if anyone is watching these as kind of like a tutorial-ish kind of thing, or seeing like the stuff that you kind of have to learn by making games in Unreal every day for 10 years, that those little tidbits I'm trying to share those with you to save you having to go through and figure a lot of that stuff out yourself. But yeah, apologies for the rambling. So here's what I'm going to do for this. I'm not going to put, you can put a physics asset on skeletal meshes, which usually you use for ragdolls on characters and stuff. I could do that for this to make a collider on the door so you can't walk through it. Because to be clear right now, this won't have any collision. I can just walk straight through it. But instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is inside the blueprint, which has the mesh, I'm going to just put a manual box collision. Because I feel like it'll be simpler, and not entirely sure whether it'll be cheaper though, but it should be simpler. Like this. I think it'll be cheaper because if you do a physics asset, the collider has to move with the bone. But if I do it this way, it's just going to be preset. There's going to be blockable dynamic. Can't step up on. Don't need overlap events. Yep. Call this door collision. And now this actor is going to be replicated, which means that it's going to be synced in multiplayer. And we're going to have one variable on here called isOpen. Boolean is fine, and we're going to make this a rep notify. And anytime that rep notify triggers, which basically anytime this variable changes across the network, we're going to set the get the anim instance, which is the animation blueprint. Try to explain this stuff as simply as I can, but some of it is just like, there's a lot of lingo, I guess. Yeah, lock door. So the anim instance is the thing we set up where the animation will happen. Set is open. We're going to set that checkbox that I was just triggering right there based on the actual blueprint. The blueprint being the actual kind of like door in the world. This is just kind of like the visual representation of it. So we're going to sync those two things together. So whenever this blueprint, this door thinks it's open, the mesh will also know it's open and play its animation. And then we're also going to set the collision enabled. If the door is open, we'll make no collision. If it's closed, we'll say collision enabled. Yeah, pretty much it. So for example, if I on begin play, if we're on the server, I just set a quick timer just as an example. So every 10 seconds, just as an example, we will set the state of the door to be, we'll just toggle it. So if it's open, we'll make it closed. If it's closed, we'll make it open. So if I put that door right here, we can test that out. So collision is enabled. I can't walk through it. After 10 seconds, the door should open. I should be able to walk through it. Not very thrilling stuff, I suppose, but if you've never seen what it takes to add a door to a game, now you've seen kind of like there is a decent amount of work required to do even the smallest, simplest things. The door's closed, can't walk through it. But now the way I've set this up, not perfectly modular, but very easy to make modular. We can switch out the animation blueprint, the mesh, sorry. I'm just thinking, like, do I need to zoom this in more? Can you guys see enough? Maybe I'll leave it for now. For a different door, but the logic would still be the same, right? Like it could be a door that's like a hatch or something or whatever, it doesn't matter. Kind of does because the only thing that's making it not modular right now is this cast. But you know. The way you would fix that is just do an interface. And you know what? I'm just going to do it again. I don't want to show you. I don't want to cheap out and show you bad habits. So we'll just say iDoor or openable. So this interface is going to be added to things that can have an open or closed state. Open close state. Open close state. Set open. We'll say new is open. Again, interfaces aren't just an Unreal thing. So I'm not sure I'm going to explain how they work, but essentially it's a way to add like these functions I'm adding to this interface, but I'm not saying like what it does. I'm just specifying that there will be a function called set open and is open on anything that has this interface. And now we can basically do this. We can call the interface version of this, assuming that the anim instance has that thing. And if it does, it's going to be able to implement that function. So all we now do is come into the animation blueprint. We give it the interface door. No, was it open, closed state, something? It doesn't like that. This is called the same thing, so I'm going to put a B in front of that, which is another Unreal standard. Interface name collision. Don't think there is a collision anymore, is there? Didn't I just fix the collision? It doesn't like even just having the B. Oh no, it is fine. Yep. So now we just need to implement these two functions. Very simply, we set it here. And if it is open, we can just return it like so. So now this this blueprint can work with any door mesh. It just has to have a have that interface if it cares about animating. And that shouldn't change the functionality at all. Again, I feel like I've over-explained this, but I might as well just show you guys the proper way to do this. Here we go. Yeah. So, this code would not be set like this anymore. Probably wouldn't allow that to be set from the outside, but it will be for now until I figure out whether that's what I want or not. And then if we go to the mothership, I'm going to have to do something about that wall, which I haven't modeled yet. It's just like a plane. We put our door in where we wanted it. And yeah, I'm going to have to see. Be a lot easier if I made this a modular kit, but I haven't done that, so we'll just have to jank it in like that. Cool, so now we have a door that we could add stuff through on the other side, which I guess I will quickly do as an example. And then I'm going to play some Lethal Company. Actually, there is already stuff on the other side. Not stuff that gets spawned. These. This is such a pain because like it's showing through both sides because it's a plane. Very annoying, but you know. Mainly just because I haven't modeled it, but there you go. Yeah, Z fighting's gnarly. Yeah, it's because I really shouldn't be doing it like this. That's going to be, once we, hopefully very soon when I get to the polish phase, I'm going to go through and actually model this properly. This is all grey box still. And I'll make an actual modular kit that snaps together rather than big planes like this. But yeah, we just don't have that for right now. So I'm going to save this, and just to test, let's see. Somehow that door needs to know about where we are. So I guess because it's an airlock door. We would want to have a base class, but we don't have one right now. Or a component, I suppose, would have been better. So get game state, get components, by class, travel, manager, assign, arrived at location. We're going to need to assign quite a few of these actually. Started, cancelled. See everyone shut their eyes for a second. I'll fix it later. Begin play server. Grab this and then location. Get current location. I don't really have a good way to check whether the door should be open or not yet, which I should probably put in the state, the location itself. But we don't have that yet either. A function, whether it should open the airlocks, and then make that a pure cast and set the is open state based on that. And what was the other one? We need to just quickly call this after all this as well. Okay, so now you can see because I'm at the global market, the door is open. If I was to travel somewhere else, the door would shut. Amazing, right? And once I arrive, still shut. If I go back to the market, should be shut until we get there, and it'll open up. I don't know how I'm going to handle if people are in that area when you travel. But I'll figure that out. So yeah, now this is where we would, depending on the location, I'd load a an actual something, for you to see. But yeah, let me save all that. I'm just going to go to the bathroom, then we'll commit that, and then I'm going to do some Lethal Company. I'm back in one sec. Ominous floating pillars, yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, I need to write down what I need to touch up there so I don't forget, but be like travel location airlock door access, and then travel location load a level, which we don't do right now. We only load levels for the procedural levels. Yeah. Anyway, so we have that. The board is now there. It's not a great place for that board, but it's going to have to be what it's going to have to be. So let's see, source content. We need to reconcile those two. We don't want to change the default INI. Don't think we need to. Maybe we do, I'm not sure. Mothership, airlock door in preparation for global market and docked locations. Go.